Good morning, Salam Alaikum. Welcome to Baina News Store, now airing on Saturdays. I am Joy Preston and I'll be your host today. Our headlines. President thanks Ashanti man for second term in office. Security agencies determined to deal with criminals, says President Nana Akufo-Addo Dankwa. NPP commends the police for proactive reaction to Takrady fake kidnap security issues. Guinea military junta meets ECOWAS chairman, appeals for more time. Heavy rainfalls hits Cape Coast. These and other many interesting topics will be coming your way. Let's move on to our first headline. Right, the president thanks Nsantima for second term in office. Now, this follows the fact that he recently visited the Ashanti region, and to show his appreciation to the people of Ashanti, he thanks them for their role in his election for a second term in office. Speaking in Twi on the first leg of his 4-day tour of the region, the president said, "But for your votes and support, I don't think I would have won the election." The Ashanti region gave the president his highest number of votes in the 2020 presidential election of more than 1.7 million votes. Okay, moving on again to the president's activities. Security agencies determined to deal with criminals. Now, the security services are determined to deal decisively with the threats posed by criminals and criminal syndicates behind recent robbery incidents across the country. Consequently, the government will keep to its commitment to provide the police service with the needed resources and adequate personnel to enable the service to deliver on its mandate. And the President Nana Akufo-Addo Dankwa says he said in assuring the 50th cadet officers graduation ceremony recently, he said this during his attendance of the 50th cadet officers graduation ceremony recently in Accra. In an address at the ceremony, the president said he was personally aware of the latest incidents of violence crimes in some parts of the country. He added that current security challenges in the country were numerous, complex, and sometimes unpredictable. I'm sure a lot of you may have been aware of serious attacks, robbery attacks across Accra, different parts of the country recently, and it got people asking questions: what is happening in Ghana and the rate at which this is happening? Perhaps we are wondering what are the police, for police personnel doing about it. But the president is assuring us that the police has been adequately equipped to carry out all the needed necessary work that they must do to curb the activities of organized crimes and criminals across the country. Okay, moving on. NPP commends the police for proactive reaction to Takrady fake kidnap. Again, this is related to security issues. The NPP has commended the Ghana Police Service for their more proactive public posture in addressing some recent developments which have affected the safety of Ghanaians. According to the New Patriotic Party's Director of Communications, Mr. Yabo Ben Asamoah, the police have recently been engaging the public in real time and sharing the path of their progress in ongoing investigations which affect the security of citizens. Citing the police response to the reported kidnap of a pregnant woman in Takrady, which turned out to be fake, Mr. Asamoah urged other public service agencies, especially utilities, to engage swiftly on their challenges that affect service delivery in order to foretell misunderstanding. I'm sure most people are aware of the Takrady issue which happened recently about a pregnant woman who faked her own kidnap, and it all turned out not to be true. But yet there are questions some of those questions could even be, how come she was able to arrange all of that? And how come she went as far as drawing national attention? And even though we all know that it's now fake, it's all fake, we still have questions on how she managed to do that. People do have questions, real questions. So you can leave your comments below as we go along, and we'll see how best we will go about it. Okay, moving on. Dampare to be confirmed as IGP. President Akufo-Addo Dankwa has indicated intentions to make the Acting Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo Dampare, the substantive holder of that office. He noted that the police chief has proven competent to occupy the position. Speaking at the graduation ceremony of the 50th Cadet Officers Course of the Ghana Police Service in Accra, the president said, in a quote, "I cannot end without reiterating the support of government for the recent actions taken by the Acting Inspector General of Police, George Akufo Dampare, which are eliciting strong backing from the population." So the president endorsing Dampare's role as the new IGP. Okay. All right, moving on to other parts of the country. Heavy rains flood Cape Coast. And Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast and its environs yesterday came under siege from flooding following several hours of rain. The Ghana National Fire Service spent hours pumping water out of affected areas and in some cases had to break walls of homes to rescue residents to safety. Many schools, including the University of Cape Coast, UCC, had to suspend activities for the day whilst most shops remain closed. So heavy rains falls there affecting Cape Coast. Okay, moving on to education. 5 pupils, 1 desk, 2,000 children struggle through school in Seni East Island. Margin pupils of varying ages belong to classes 3, 4, 5, 6, lumped up together in one classroom with very sparse furniture and being taught the same topic or subject by one teacher. In addition to that, there are neither exercise nor textbooks to enhance learning, and the pupils must figure out for themselves how to understand what is being taught. Whereas that may sound well, this is a situation that most of the children in this part find themselves in. And the communities of the Seni East District in the Bono East region have to contend with on a daily basis. And at the end of their basic education, they also have to write the same examination with other pupils in well-endowed schools. So obviously, this raises questions. If we have pupils from varying ages, say from class 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, being lumped in one classroom and all be taught the same subject with barely any furniture, any writing material, etc. They learn the same thing over and over again, and they also have to sit, for the same examinations with other pupils from far better schools, and they are expected to also pass their examinations. It doesn't quite sit well, and it's not really fair. I think the various responsible parties and bodies there, our educational agencies should begin to work on this and to really look into how to better the situations of the pupils at the Seni East District in the Bono East region. All right, still adding, more than 2,000 pupils in 5 primary schools on the islands in the district are studying okay, obviously, like I said, I think this is something that needs to be addressed as urgent as possible and should be taken very, very seriously there. You can't expect pupils or 2,000 students all struggling to study, you know, with barely any materials to study with, to compete in the same examination as other students and do well. It just doesn't equate. Right, let's move on to other news. Digitalization of land administration commences. And the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Abu Jinapor, has said the government has embarked on a drive to reform land administration in the country, including digitalization to promote efficiency in the sector. According to him, the measure would also ensure that people are able to access their land records in the comfort of their homes through the use of mobile phones and other such gadgets. So this is to ease the accessibility of land that are purchased by individuals without them having to go through stress and all of that. Adding that, taking his turn at the Ministry of Information press briefing recently, which is in a series in Accra, the minister said the digitally driven initiatives by the government would remove bottlenecks which served as impediments to a smooth land administration system in the country. That is really exciting. I'm sure that many people will be very, very pleased about that move to digitalize the land acquisition system, so you don't have to go to different places to check on your land documents or check how many people are owning one piece of land. All of these will be made much, much easier. Let's hope it works. Okay, let's look into Guinea. Mamadi Doumbouya, Guinea coup leader, sworn in as president. Colonel Mamadou Doumbouya has been sworn in as Guinea's interim president after leading a coup which saw the overthrow of Alpha Condé. The former French legionnaire, 41, becomes Africa's second youngest leader after Mali's Assimi Goïta, who was 38 years old, who also tagged a military takeover. Colonel Doumbouya is barred from contesting future elections under a transitional charter published this week. Okay, so Doumbouya has been sworn in as Guinea's interim president, and he's the second youngest president in Africa. Yes, following Mali's Assimi Goïta, who was 38, taking power under similar circumstances. All right, let's move on to other African news. Top 10 news that are trending across Africa. Straight to Tunisia. Tunisia's bold political appointment. Tunisia's president named geologist Najil Bouden as the country's first ever female prime minister designate on Wednesday to form a government with limited executive clout after the president seized wide-ranging powers 2 months ago. Bouden, a university lecturer and political unknown, will take over after President Kais Saied on 25th July, who sacked the government of the Hichman Machini, suspended parliament. Okay, so we are told that Tunisia's president named Najil Bouden is the country's first female president. And while some Tunisians have supported the decision of the former president, he has faced repeated calls to name a government. The president, we are told, will head the cabinet, repeatedly emphasized the historic nature of the nomination of a woman, calling it a honor for Tunisia and a homage to Tunisia women. All right, so Tunisia's first president being a woman there, Najil Bouden. Moving on now to Nigeria, we're told that a call to ban the NYSC, popularly known as, I guess, is similar to what we have here as service, the usual youth service. We are told that there's a call to ban it because there are concerns that it actually jeopardizes the safety and security of the coppers, often posted far from home, who are sometimes killed by bandits and religious extremists. Nigeria's National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, is a mandatory one-year program for graduates of tertiary institutions. So a call to ban the NYSC program because it poses threat issues to the young coppers who are often posted far away from homes. All right, moving on to Kenya. Kenya's hospitality staff forced to hustle during lockdowns. Now, in early June, as international borders across the world and Africa started to reopen and booking surged, Kenya and many other countries in Africa experienced their steepest spike of coronavirus cases during the pandemic. With only 1% of the African continent fully vaccinated and the virus raging, several countries were forced to lock down or impose stringent measures against the virus. Before the pandemic, Kenya was the third largest tourism destination in Africa, with tourism contributing over $1.6 billion to the national economy and creating 1.1 million jobs, or more than 8% of the country's employment. Now, the coronavirus was disastrous. During the high season between July and October of last year, most bookings were cancelled, causing layoffs and salary cuts, and many tour companies shut down. The loss of international tourism in Kenya and other East African nations with little assistance from the local government or elsewhere has disseminated the livelihoods of thousands of travel and hospitality workers who have had to take on odd jobs and borrow money to survive. Now, I think this particular issue in Kenya is something similar to what a lot of other countries, particularly in Africa, had to face. Obviously, with COVID-19, borders were shut. The tourism industry, was probably far more affected than any other industry. And many people, were laid off their jobs and obviously had to re-strategize, look out for other ways to earn a living. But we are told that in Kenya, it was so bad because the economy is highly reliant on tourism. So a lot of the hospitality staff have had to hustle doing odd jobs just to survive. And we're also told that the government barely even intervened. So obviously it made it harder for local staff to find a means of living. This is the whole idea that, with COVID-19, I mean, different countries have been borrowing. They not just borrow, but, they also received aid to help people mitigate the loss, such as their daily living. If a government doesn't really inject those monies into what it's meant for, obviously the ordinary citizens will suffer. Let's hope that we have all learned from this, even as we still have COVID with us. It's not yet over. Countries are continuing to recover from the effect of it. Let's just ensure that all the aids that are sent to literally help people, upgrade themselves or to get some form of a living, those interventions are all done according to how they should be. Okay, let's move on to Zimbabwe. Harare comes down on dodgy currency deals. Zimbabwe's central bank has frozen the bank accounts of 30 people accused of illegally exchanging foreign currency through mobile phones and social networks, it said on Tuesday. Okay, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe said in a statement on Tuesday it had identified 30 people abusing mobile money, telecommunication services, and other social media platforms for illegal foreign exchange transactions and money laundering. Their accounts have been frozen and they are now banned from banking for 2 years. I think that's a very good measure there to ensure that scammers and people who engage in illegal money laundering stop their illegal activities. Zimbabwe Central Bank taking a very firm stand there. Kudos to them. Now, let's move quickly to France. Paris has made it harder for 3 African countries visiting the countries to get visas. Now, France says it will drastically cut the number of visas granted to people from Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia, accusing the former French colonies of not doing enough to allow illegal immigrants to return. The French president, Mr. Emmanuel Macron, has reportedly ordered the number of visa deliveries to Algeria and Morocco to be halved from 2020 levels and by a third for Tunisia after diplomatic efforts with the 3 North African countries failed. France has been finding it increasingly difficult to send citizens from the 3 countries back there after they have received an expulsion order. So France saying that it's going to cut the visas issued to citizens of Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia, reason being that it finds it very difficult to send back illegal immigrants who tend to travel to France. They then refuse to come back home. So France is saying that they are going to reduce the number of visas there. The thing is, obviously, if we begin to make Africa a more, interesting place, a greener pasture for young people to want to live in, to want to do business in, to want to, make a life in, I don't think people will be in a hurry to leave their countries forever and not want to return. You should be able to have that choice, have the option to travel out because you want to travel out. Come back because you want to come back, not that, you've gotten your visa and when you're there, you throw the visa somewhere and then, it's like forever after at the other side, forgetting that there is a place you must return to. Let's do well to try and represent who we truly are as Africans and able citizens of the world. Right, this is all we have for you right here on Baina News Store. A big shout out to my producer, Ahmed Said, and thank you to all the Baina News staff. Don't forget to continue to watch all our programs and subscribe to our social media handles on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And leave your comments below. We will be happy to get back to you. Hope you enjoyed today's session. See you next time and have a great weekend. Thank you.